Decided to make another video. It's another day. I can't make these videos when my wife is home from work at night, because I like making videos here in the dining room because of the lighting. And she's a night nurse, so she's working tonight, but she'll be off the next couple nights. And usually when I make videos is when she's not home or when she's gone during the day. Sometimes I make videos down the lower level, our open basement where our library is, most of our books, and then I make videos in my study up here in the. But I like making them here in the dining room, even though I don't have any books behind me. I notice a lot of people who have videos in BookTube have a background of books. That's kind of cool. I just don't know how to do it unless I get special lighting downstairs, and because when you film under fluorescent lights, or the kind of lights that we have down in the lower basement, it somehow affects the video. It doesn't come out right. So I do it here. Now, I have seen videos in the past of people making videos in their dining room or in their bedroom or outside or someplace like that, but it'd be kind of cool to make videos surrounded by books or a bookcase background, but it's not going to be. So today, as I said, it's September the 7th, 2016. It's Wednesday. It's 9:12 at night. It's 77 degrees inside my cage, and I've been sitting in the dark listening to some intense death metal. Today this morning I read God Has Spoken in His Son, a biblical theology of Hebrews. This is a biblical theology of the Epistle of Hebrews that you find in the New Testament. This is written by Peter T. O'Brien. He also wrote this commentary on the letter to the Hebrews, or the Epistle to the Hebrews, in the Pillar New Testament Commentary series. So I got that out. And I got out tonight to read it tomorrow morning in the Ancient Commentary series. This is volume 10, New Testament on Hebrews. This is edited by Eric M. Heen and Philip D. W. Cray. What this is these scholars go through the writings of the church fathers, the early fathers, and from their homilies and other writings, and where they mention Hebrews, chapter 1 of Hebrews, or verse, they find excerpts like you have in here. Well, some of these are not really early. I noticed they have Bede. Bede was really more early Middle Ages. I have his sermons or exposition on the Acts of the Apostles. Venerable Bede was his name. So, but anyway, I got that out to look at tomorrow morning. I try not to get too many books out on Hebrews because I have so many I can get bogged down, and I'm trying to not get bogged down in Hebrews. You could spend your whole life just studying the letter of Hebrews. You could spend, eternity. The Word of God is inexhaustible. It has depths that cannot be plumbed. So I try to not get too deep into anything in the mornings. I try to read for meditation, something just to have put in my mind in the mornings. So that's what I try to do. I could spend all day just reading everything I have on the Epistle of Hebrews, and it go on forever, because like I said, I have tons of commentaries and tons of stuff on the Epistle of Hebrews. So I read that in the mornings, and then I wrote in my diary, and I ended on page 755 today. So tomorrow morning is September the 8th, 2016. I will be on page 756. So today I reread The Wall Creepers by Neil Zink. I reread that quickly, refreshed my mind. And then I started reading her novel, Neil Zink's Mislaid. It says here about, on the flap here about Mislaid, for the we have the unconventional voice of Neil Zink comes a wickedly humorous and sharply observed novel that exposes all our assumptions about race and racism, sexuality and desire through the making of One American Family. In the 1960s, Virginia college freshman in NU, Peggy falls for professor and poet Lee. What begins as an ill-advised affair results in an unplanned pregnancy and marriage. Mismatched from the start, she's a lesbian and he's gay. Peggy eventually finds herself in crisis and runs away with her daughter, leaving their son behind. Estranged from the rest of the family, Peggy and her daughter adopt African American identities and live near poverty to escape detection. Meanwhile, Lee and his son carry on, enjoying all the social privileges their gender, class, and whiteness afforded them. Eventually, the long-lost siblings meet, setting off a series of misunderstandings that culminate in a darkly comedic comedy finale worthy of Shakespeare. With an arch sense of humor and witty satirical eye, Neil Zink upends the foundational categories of American life, race, class, gender, and sexuality. In a novel that is once daring and envelope pushing, and utterly hilarious, all the while tracing how a mother, daughter, father, and son figure out what it means to belong. So I started reading that tonight. I also started reading today the book I mentioned I got in the mail yesterday, Mad Enchantment, Claude Monet and the Painting of the Water Lilies by Ross King. I mentioned last night that you have here on the cover a photograph of Monet, and he had this garden, and you see this Japanese bridge, and I said I was going to show you a painting of that he did. This is the painting of the Japanese. It says here, Claude Monet, the Japanese footbridge and the water lily pond, painted in 1899. See that? So this is from this book here, the Great Book of French Impressionism. So I started reading The Mad Enchantment today. I just got a couple of pages, and so I look forward to reading that. And I'm still reading tonight the writer's chapbook, a compendium of fact, opinion, wit, and advice, the 20th century's preeminent writers, edited from the Paris Review, which was a literary magazine. Interviews with introduction by George Pimpleton. Pimpleton was one of the original founders of the Paris Review back in the 50s. In this chapter you have part 1, the writer's profile, on reading, on first efforts, on motivation, why I write, on work habits, on inspiration, the starting point, on the audience, on performance, on revising and self-evaluation, on editors, on publication, success, failure, on critics. Here, Pimpleton quotes from the interviews of 20th century preeminent writers and what they said in their interviews on these different topics. Part 2 is on technical matters. Part 3, different forms like biography, children's books, criticism, films, journalism, pot boilers, short stories, theater. And part 4 is the writer's life, on social life, writers, colonies, salons, literary communities, on security, grants, prizes, honors, on readings, seminars and conferences, on politics, on teaching, on peers, and on the future. And I always like reading, I like to read about the lives of writers and what they say on writing and all the aspects of being a writer. So I'm really enjoying this book. So that's what I read today, and that's what's on my mind, and there's not much else to say. I didn't get much response from my last video, which I'm glad for, because I thought that my reflections on diversity might cause an uproar in the booktube community, but there was nothing, which I'm glad for, because I'm a quiet person. I don't like controversy. I don't like arguing. I'm introverted. I'm a hermit. I'm a very shy person, very reserved. I just like to read and to write and to wait for the second coming of Christ. So until next time, I'm hoping that you're having a good book week, reading, and until next time, bye.